Welcome to Uncaged on the talkSPORT MMA YouTube channel. We are in the Middle East for the PFL Road to Dubai Champion Series. I know I'm stating the obvious. I can pretty much see why you've decided to move here from Manchester, son.
I mean, it's not bad life at all, is it? I can't believe it's like your first time having a proper go over here.
Oh, yeah. Normally I'm in and out for a fight, but I've had an extra couple of days here just to have a little bit of a nosy round. Went down the marina yesterday. It's all right down there, yeah?
It's honestly not a bad place to live. Like, we were talking about this yesterday, if you are a young go-getter, no kids, ambitious, there is no better place in the world to be than Dubai. Everyone is getting after it constantly.
Look at him, right? He's not only the PFL spokesperson, he's now the
Dubai.
tourist board Dubai. He wants a job with them as well. Look at him, the lad. Who are you having a wave to then?
I thought that was someone else. Shit, ignore that. It's got absolutely blank. Kick that one off.
Shades, that's what Shades does. Listen, the reason why we're here is because we've got the start of the PFL calendar year, I suppose. Road to Dubai Champion Series. All gets underway on Saturday night. Coca-Cola Arena. It's only a couple of minutes away from where we're actually stood right now, outside the Burj Khalifa. It's headlined by Usman Nurmagomedov. And the next generation of fighting Irish in Paul Hughes. It's a phenomenal fight. It's captured the imagination of a lot of people, mainly because they're marketing it as Dagestan versus Ireland Part 2. Khabib Nurmagomedov, who is the cousin of Usman and head coach, has taken to social media and done a couple of videos saying, Ireland don't have any fighters. You've got Irish heritage, I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, Ireland don't have any fighters, not like us Dagestanis. We are dominating. These guys are miles behind us. And it's only added to the flavour of Saturday night's main event. I
mean, listen, I've tried to work it out a few times and I've asked a lot of people, like, what is going on in Dagestan though? For such a small place to dominate an entire sport is quite captivating, and I do kind of get what Khabib's saying in a certain sense, because we were just talking about previously on the other show, he's had to send his mate over to Bellator because they're so dominant with Islam in the UFC. Yeah. Then he just take over both. So, you know, I just recently lost to one of them. I felt it. I fought a lot of them in my career, and it is something that is quite inexplainable that is going on over there. They feel different. You know, the technique, they're perfect in all areas. Most of them 18 to 20-0. It's just like, what is going on? And this whole Paul Hughes thing, the rise, he's had the Cage Warriors thing, the Irish thing, the Conor McGregor connection. Yeah. It has it all.
It does. It's got an unbelievable story, an unbelievable narrative. We'll talk about the challenger then first and foremost. Yeah. Big news, Paul Hughes attempting to do something very, very special. Obviously, he was one of the hottest free agents. He chose the PFL/Bellator to come down this route and manifested quite a lot of this. Obviously, he has his debut, looks good, gets in with AJ McKee. I'll be honest, Paul, if you're watching this, I thought to myself it might be a little bit too much too soon, but he was sensational. He was absolutely fantastic against AJ McKee, who I rate very, very highly. And now he's coming into a fight against Usman, once again, as an underdog. It's not new news for him to be the underdog going into a fight. This is absolutely the toughest challenge of his career so far. But even though you look at Usman's resume, and he's got some good names on that resume, they are names that maybe were coming to the end of their career. We're talking about a young lad here who's only lost one fight, and he's avenged that loss against Jordan Vucenic and has got the bit between his teeth. You know, when you speak to some fighters sometimes, mate, and there's a belief behind his eyes. He's not faking it. He believes everything that he's saying. He thinks he can turn him over at the weekend.
You know, we're in agreement that Usman Nurmagomedov could be the best 155er on the planet.
He could be.
He potentially could be. We don't know that because of the different organisations, but the way this guy operates as a fighter and as a fan myself, when I watch him, all aspects are perfect. The way he does them turning kicks, really difficult techniques, he's just pulling them off. How he did that on Ben Henderson.
A little question mark,
bad boy. It was just beautiful, and then to dive on him in the way he did, and you know, he's really good, really good. Then you've got Paul Hughes, who's come through the whole Cage Warriors route, young, hungry, game. AJ McKee was a tough test, he came through that, but this is a whole nother level again. This is like, that was AJ, this is Usman. I'm obviously rooting for the Irish. I want Paul to do it, but it's a very tough task.
Do you think he can drag Usman into a fight?
No. I think he's too composed. I think Usman is very composed. He sits behind the jab really well.
Yeah.
And I just think he's incredibly experienced. I think Paul needs to do everything he can to make it as ugly as possible.
Yeah.
But then you come in with the hands and you overcommit and you end up on your back. So it's a really tough task with someone like this who's very, he's very aware of what Paul's going to come with. On paper, I'd have it down as Usman the favourite, obviously.
Yeah.
Paul the underdog, but we love an underdog story.
Of course you do. Of course you do. And if he can drag it into a fight, because this is the predicament, right? We've seen Paul Hughes fight on many occasions, and there's a couple of highlights that you can bring in from Cage Warriors where we've seen how big his balls are, right? We've seen the dog in the fight.
Yeah,
we know he's got the skills, but when it hits the fan, when you're in the deep water, what's the crack, man? Do you want to swim? He's proven he can do that.
Yeah.
Jordan Vichenik, Morgan Charrier, AJ McKee to an extent, right? We haven't seen that from Usman as of yet. Now, I'm not doubting that it's there, right? Because he's a Nurmagomedov. It's there. It will be there in some way, shape or form, but you only find out when you actually go to the deep water. Now, the reason why we've not seen it is because nobody's taken him there. Nobody's been able to take him there, okay? If Paul can take him there, that's when this fight gets interesting for me, because I want to know more about Usman.
Yeah. I mean, we've just seen it with Umar this weekend. So
yeah,
you've got a prime example of, someone from that gym that did get taken the 5 rounds, and we had seen a slight break.
Yeah.
So does that mean that this could happen in this fight if it goes there? That is the question that we will all see on the weekend. And I think Paul Hughes is no easy fight for anybody. He's up for it. He's young.
And he's fit. He's got the cardio.
Man.
He can go long.
Yeah, man. And he's got an incredible belief in himself.
Yeah. But as I think we're all alluding to, and I'm sure, listen, we don't lie to you on this channel, it's a tough fight for him. Very, very tough fight. Usman Nurmagomedov, he's absolutely the favourite coming into it. We're not deluding ourselves with that. And as Brendan said, he could actually be the best 155er across all franchises, couldn't he? He's a special, special talent. That's your main event. Your co-main event is heavyweights, because Vadim Nemkov is back. Yep. He's had a change of opponent about 3 times for this. It was supposed to be Elijah, then it was supposed to be maybe the part 3 with Corey Anderson. Now we've got Tim Johnson at the weekend, mate. Chopping and changing opponents in the build-up to a fight is a bumming nightmare, isn't it, when you're trying to prepare for something?
Mate, I've been in the room with Nemkov. I watched him spar till. Do you know what I mean? Like he was training with us at Tiger Muay Thai. I'm not surprised he's having pull-outs. He's a nightmare matchup coming from that Fedor gym, and just a really good, well-rounded mixed martial artist, and a very tough night for most people in that division. Very, very tough. Dude's
been in the army, mate. He knows what the crack is, doesn't he?
He's just got that composure about him. Been there, done that, and he's just an hard matchup, really hard. And it doesn't surprise me that he's been pull out after pull out, honestly.
Obviously, he did incredibly well at light heavyweight. Now he's up at heavy. It's going to be really interesting with everything that's going on with the PFL and Bellator, isn't it? How they navigate Nemkov, because they've got Ngannou. They need people for Ngannou, don't they? Nemkov, it feels like that would be maybe an inevitable thing eventually when Nemkov goes in the direction of a Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what a fight. I didn't even, I never even put that fight together in my head, Francis Ngannou and Nemkov. But
well, he needs opponents,
when you're looking at guys for Ngannou, it has to be someone like Nemkov, someone that is the calibre of him is going to be hard to find. And let's hope he gets through this weekend, which he should do.
Yeah.
Let's have it right. And yeah, you've got to look at these super fights like Ngannou.
Fedor's fought Tim Johnson, and he stopped him in 1 minute 46. Do you reckon that'll be in Nemkov's head? So I'm the protege of this guy. The main man has stopped him in 146. I've got to go quicker.
I mean, that might be the last thing on his mind, but
yeah, probably.
It is good to see Fedor knocking about him. What a guy to have in your corner, innit? What a guy to have knocking about with you as your mentor. I mean, he's coming from a great gym, and he's just going to be really, really difficult to beat.
Fedor is one of the most intimidating dudes that you're ever going to come across.
Stone cold, mate.
He's never spoken a word.
Have you said hello to him?
Yeah, but he only grunts at me.
It's just like that, isn't it?
Mate, this has happened now in Riyadh, and it's happened here, right? He's in the gym every morning. Is Fedor. Now, bear in mind, what are we? I mean, we're blessed to be in 20-degree heat now. Yeah. 2022, something like that.
He's got a sauna suit on, please.
Full trackie. He's baking hot in the gym, and he's doing an hour at a decent pace, mate.
Is he, yeah?
Sprinting.
Is he?
Mate.
He's still at it?
He's pounding away. Phenomenal from the big man.
Fair play to him.
Yeah.
what a guy to have in your corner. Like, literally, arguably the best heavyweight of all time.
Yeah.
And he's obviously training him well. They're coming from a great gym. Mate, they're coming from Siberia. Do you know where Siberia is? Do you know how cold and miserable Siberia is? That's where they're coming from. Good luck fighting that man.
Yeah. That's your co-main event, heavyweights on deck. Listen, I think it's all about Vadim Nemkov coming into it, but you never know. Johnson's been there, done it, got the t-shirt. He's been in with some good guys. He's won some, he's lost some. We'll see what's what comes Saturday night. Obviously, like I said, third change of opponent for Vadim Nemkov, who a lot of people are incredibly high on. Let's talk about some of the Irish boys, because I'm a big fan of Nathan Kelly.
Same.
I love it. I love the lad's story. We're going to have an interview on our channel for you from Nathan Kelly, where he was an Aldi manager, 0-2 in his professional career, and now he's on an 11-fight streak, 9 first-round finishes. He just really seems to have fallen into a real nice rhythm with what he's doing. And again, the opponents at the weekend should have been Magomed Sharipov, Zabit's brother, but it fell off. He's got a different opponent, another Dagestan fighter, who hasn't been in the octagon for a period of time, and he lost his last one. So this is going to be interesting to see how he approaches it too. I think it's a big night for Nate to show what he's all about and really push himself forward this year.
So it is, what a story, you know what I mean? These are the stories that you look for in MMA. But here's the thing, right? Like, Paul Hughes the same, Nathan Kelly's the same. You're now running into the Dagestanis.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're running into really difficult competition. Not taking away anything that you fought so far.
Yeah.
I'm really not. But I know personally what it's like.
There's no gaps, man.
Yeah, man. There's
no
the room
gaps.
for errors is very minimal with these guys. I'm not sure about his opponent because it's changed recently, but obviously when he was going to fight Zabit's brother, who I'm a fan of, and I was telling you about, incredible fighter, not too sure on the replacement, but I'm sure if he's coming from that gym, room for error is small, and it's going to be a very interesting night to see how the Europeans, should I say, because, you know, it's not just the Irish, there is a lot of Europeans on the card, do against this type of style.
Yeah. How do you think John Mitchell's going to get on?
John
this
Mitchell,
weekend?
great fighter. Love John Mitchell. One of the most charismatic, entertaining fighters that is in the PFL. Big fan of him. Absolute workhorse, mate. Like, this kid, I thought I trained hard. Like, he really, really trains. And I think he's great for the sport. Speaks really well too.
Yeah.
He's a very, very good person to have on the roster. And I just, you know, with him living in Dubai as well, he's a charismatic guy, and I just always want to see John Mitchell do well because of how hard he trains and how much of a likeable guy he is.
Definitely go and check out his interview. John Mitchell,
that was good, wasn't it?
mad as a box of
Legend.
frogs, mate. Mad as a box
He
of
can
frogs.
really talk as well.
Yeah.
He can really get on the mic, can't he? The Irish can though, can't they?
Mate.
They can, can't they?
Too short for me.
They're brilliant.
Too short. You've got to proper concentrate on
Yeah.
what's going on because you don't know whether they're being nice to you or just rinsing
They're
you.
brilliant, honestly.
Yeah, he's good value, John Mitchell. That's available on the YouTube channel. And finally, the Manchester Dagestani. I know that you've championed this young man, bringing him into the PFL. Ibrahimov.
Yep.
Perfect through his amateur career, perfect through his pro career. I think he's 8 now, undefeated as a pro. I mean, what a blooming talented family, mate. His brothers are playing at Manchester United. He's taking on the world in MMA. It's world domination.
Mate, I'm going to kill these flies. I'm sorry.
You're getting bitten, lad.
I'm constantly getting bitten as I'm trying to talk to him and nothing. But anyway, back to that. I remember, so he's been one of my main sparring partners coming through the PFL in the earlier seasons. And I just remember, I just rang up the PFL. I said to Eduardo, they got one here for you. And they were like, who? Sent it, I think he's only 3-0, 4-0 at the time. Sent him a video, this is your next guy. They took the risk of him, they signed him. He is that guy, mate. He really is. Imagine being a Mank Dagestani. That means
He's cracked it, hasn't he? He's cracked it.
You've got the Mank grit and you've got the Dagestani technique. Does that mean that goes with it? And what a great kid. And I mean, explain the family story. Explain, please, because it's just unheard of. So, explain this, because you need to hear this.
So Ibrahim, again, we've interviewed him and he's brilliant. He's fantastic on the microphone, so he'll allude to a little bit of this. But at 13 years of age, family come over from Dagestan, set up camp in Manchester, goes to school in Manchester and what have you, falls in love with MMA, ends up at Manchester top team, which is now Manchester top team, all powers Manchester top team, and takes up the sport. Now, he's actually a really good footballer, as are all of his brothers. 3 brothers? Yeah, 3 brothers. His 3 brothers are all at Manchester United. One of them's probably going to play first team football this year. right? I think he's 16, 17. He's young. He's the one down from Ibrahim. He's doing really well in the youth ranks. He's probably going to be a first teamer for Manchester United. His other two brothers are going to make it eventually, but they're just a little bit too young right now. Meanwhile, he's gone against his father's wishes and gone, I'm just going to go and beat people up for a living. And he turns out to be really good at beating people up. Like I said, perfect through his MMA record. Sensational. And he's got a wicked personality as well.
Yeah.
Stories for days.
It's honestly, it's unheard of, but I've been around his dad quite a bit. I mean, he's so on him. They're not allowed fizzy drinks, the discipline.
He's building champions, man.
With it. And, mate, there's something in them genes there, because to be that higher level of football, to break a Manchester United first team, and also have a PFL potential champion
in the same
as
year.
brothers. It's incredible. What a story. Keep your eyes on this story.
Yeah. MMA in the Middle East, it's blooming flying out here, isn't it? Especially in Dubai.
I mean, first show in Dubai, I believe.
First pro show in Dubai, yeah.
There you go. So, breaking ground, PFL. I remember when I got the phone call 5 years ago and all this was just an idea.
But the amount of fighters that live and train here.
I know, mate. I know. You got Chimaev now. He's a resident over here. Myself, resident over here.
Ty comes out here, doesn't he? Tuivasa comes out here and spends a lot of time.
Well, have you been here now a day, and how good is it?
Yeah, it's mega.
Do you know what I mean? When you actually spend time here, and you actually, I'm on the tourism board, by the way.
Yeah, he is.
But when you actually spend time here, mate, I mean, even the gyms at TK and that, you got a lot of Dagestanis and Uzbeks, and then you got the Europeans, you got Gokhan Saki, all these guys that are just knocking about the gym, helping out all the younger fighters. Bam, Chimaev, all of us knocking around the same gyms. I mean, it's becoming a real hub for MMA fighters.
Yeah. You're right with them. I've never seen you move this quick when them flies are coming your way, son.
Absolutely eating me alive.
The fast twitch muscle fibers are still there, mate. You're still giving it, mate. Listen, we've got many more things coming your way this week. We've got plenty of interviews. We've interviewed 5 or 6 fighters from the top of the roster. Some of them we've mentioned them within the show, so make sure you go and check that out. We're also going to be bringing you a show from the weigh-ins, which is taking place at the on the beach, I believe, later on this week. That'll be banging, won't it? Yeah. And then, of course, on Saturday night, we'll be bringing you action from the Coca-Cola Arena. So make sure you like and subscribe to talkSPORT MMA YouTube channel, and we'll catch you next time.